get a little negative here. Jamie, who's the biggest rankings faller for you?
Heath mentioned one in Devon Achane, the concern about the shoulder, but also the usage. I read something, I think it was in Sports Illustrated, Alan Pupar and Omar Kelly, who covered the Dolphins for them, saying that Pupant, I think is how you pronounce it, I apologize, that Savon Ahmed or Myles Gaskin is going to make the team. But at this point, both those guys, I think, have been running ahead of Devon Achane. Certainly Ahmed has. You just see the way that this depth chart is shaking out, and does not look good for Achane to have the impact, as Heath alluded to, prior to maybe the first few weeks of the season.
Biggest faller, Heath?
I guess I'm going to say Jameson Williams, just because I'm just not drafting him anymore. And I was pretty low on him in the first place, but just like inability to stay healthy, lack of experience practicing with the team. Definitely not going to be with the team for the first 6 weeks of the season. No telling what type of shape he's going to be in and whether he's going to be able to stay healthy when he gets there, and where he's at on they're trying to add another wide receiver right now. So pick him up off the waiver wire if you want to in week 7.
Yeah. And this is Jameson Williams, Lions second-year receiver. I'm just looking up his stats. He ran 26 routes. He played a lot. And he had 2 catches for 18 yards on 7 targets, including a dropped deep ball. It was catchable. If he had caught that, his line looks a lot better. But didn't exactly have a great preseason debut a couple of weeks ago, Jameson Williams. All right, we have to talk about Naji Harris, guys, because I want to know where you're ranking Naji Harris, if you've moved him down.
Yes.
It's like the Steelers offense is running away from Naji Harris. Like, I don't know. What do you guys think? Jamie, Naji, go ahead.
Well, I mean, look, it's not so much what Jaylen Warren did with the 62-yard touchdown run, which, I can't imagine people seeing that and not getting excited about him and not being concerned about Najee, but it's the playing time. The fact that they're using Jaylen Warren in the spots that they're using him, and what we saw at the end of last season as well. Look, I mean, Jaylen Warren's been a more explosive player than Naji Harris in their short time together. And you've heard just nothing but positive reports, going back to the NFL draft about what they want to do with Jaylen Warren and off-season mini camps, all those things about getting him on the field. And so, it's I don't think Najee's going away. I think he's still going to be the goal line option. I think he's still going to play on first and second down, but is he going to be involved in the passing game? Is he going to be on the field as much as he has been? That was the allure of Najee Harris, was him staying on the field. The allure of the Steelers running back. Mike Tomlin's running backs have played 3 downs consistently, and hopefully when they stayed healthy, been very productive. Najee's not necessarily profiling like that right now. So he's still worth drafting as a number 2 running back, but he went from a guy I was taking in round 3 to a guy I'm taking toward the end of round 4.
Yeah, Heath, where do you have Najee Harris?
Well, I already had him in round 4. I have moved him down to round 5 now. And I just don't think I'm probably going to get him, but I've got him 21st at running back now. The names that I always give, the long list of guys who have been as inefficient as him, I'm not going to give the list, but 3 combined top 20 seasons from the 9 running backs who have seen as many touches as him in their first 2 years. I'm not going to bet on him being a top 20 running back this year. And I just wonder, I know Mike Tomlin's history, and I lean on coaching history as much as anybody, and the way he's used running backs. We saw a little crack in that midway through last year where all of a sudden he had a third down back, and he hadn't really done that very much in the past. And then there was some talk this offseason about how Jaylen Warren needs more work. And I know what we all saw watching that run, but I just think of Matt Canada and Mike Tomlin watching Jaylen Warren break that run and run past safeties. And there's no way they don't think we have to get that guy the ball more.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing I keep going back to, though, with him is how much was the foot a problem, for Najee last year? And is he healthy? And so a healthy Najee Harris may change some things. It's not, I think, changing what exactly Heath said, that they're going to get another guy on the field and giving him, the chance to play more. But there's the other side of this with Jaylen Warren, is that you're getting him at a much, much better value, clearly. His ADP is going to rise from what's happened this weekend. But if there is the Najee injury and he misses time, he's a league winner. He's an absolute league winner. So these are the type of guys you want to get in on, because you can use him if you need him as a flex. You don't want to have to use him because he's probably not going to get a lot of production, at least right away. But if Najee goes down, then he becomes that guy. And then you probably won your league because of getting a player like that.
Yeah, I was thinking about some running backs that I keep seeing, being taken in maybe late round 4 to through round 5. And I want to know how many of them you'd take over Naji Harris? Because in my mind, I'm thinking, I think I'd take all of these guys over Naji Harris. So just tell me, would you take this player over Naji Harris? Dameon Pierce.
Easily.
Yep.
J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, was there for me before this weekend.
I still got Dobbins behind.
James Conner.
Yep.
Yes.
Alexander Madison.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Might get a little tougher here. Ken Walker.
No.
Najee.
Breece Hall.
Najee.
Okay. Miles Sanders stands out. Why is he a faller, and where'd you move Sanders to?
Bryce Young does not look good. The offensive line does not look good. You're hearing reports just about some struggles there, but it's just a couple spots. It's more about just shuffling around that group of Najee and Sanders and Connor and Madison. So I just put Sanders closer to where I have Najee right now. I just think I hope he's going to help things, but Bryce Young scares me a little bit right now, and that's a big part of it.
And how about you, Heath? You've always been the Miles Sanders guy.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be consistent. I don't want to only move down the hurt guys who I didn't like. So and both Sanders and another guy I'll talk about in a minute, David Montgomery, kind of guys where I had them more than a round ahead of where they were being drafted. And so I've tried, or maybe even two in Montgomery's case, and I've tried to, not draft him around earlier than I have to. But it sounds like Sanders is going to be okay. I just am trying to be a little bit consistent on how I rank the injured guys.
Keenan Allen, Jamie, interesting. Why did you move him down?
Part of the reason is because of, I think, the usage we're going to see. His allure is being the slot guy. If they're going to really use Mike Williams in the slot and put him on the outside, that's going to give him some different opportunities, but I think also give him some tougher coverage. And then Quentin Johnston's looking good, as well. So again, distribution of targets may not be the same for him. But again, it was just moving him down a couple spots, not like a significant drop. Plus, he's, again, speaking of being consistent, I can't sit here and rail on Devontae Adams and DeAndre Hopkins being 30 and not give him some sort of a ding as well.
Right. Dalton Schultz, ding.
That offense is also looking a little bit bad, but also a lot of options. So Schultz is being mixed in with some other their tight ends there. And I think we're going to see CJ Stroud spread the ball around. So it was more about when I looked at the end of my top 12 and I was looking at Kincaid, Laporta, Juwan Johnson, and Schultz. I just put Schultz behind all those guys.
All right, Heath, your fallers include Miles Sanders. You talked about David Montgomery. You just we want to expand a little bit on that. You just don't want to be too high on him based on his ADP.
Right. Yeah. It's like I know, and I make this process in my head where if somebody's in the top of my queue and I know they're not going to go for another round and a half, I just don't take them and take them in a round. But I know that a lot of people using my rankings don't do it that way. So I just move him down a little bit to try to make it so nobody's drafting him at the 4 or 5 turn when they can get him in round 6.
Right. Fair enough. By the way, please hit the like button if you're watching on YouTube right now. If you feel like we've earned it, 1,300 people watching, appreciate that. About 219 likes. We can do a little bit better than that. Let's get that up to 300, huh? All right. David Montgomery, Naji Harris, Devon Achane, Treylon Burks, same thing. He's just hurt. Earlier, you said he won't. It doesn't look like he'll be there for week 1. How confident are you in that opinion?
I am confident that if he is there in week 1, it seems like it's unlikely that he is like fully ready to go. It looks at the timetable that everybody's giving is like putting him. Maybe he's able to get back just in time for week 1.
Okay, that's Treylon Burks. So, yeah, he should be someone you draft don't need. Right?
I think you put him in that Kadarius Toney range.